And good evening, everybody. It's a beautiful night here for June 30th, 2022. With big money in every U.S. state, you got to get it because this economy is falling apart very quickly, very suddenly, and you can't sit around. And thank goodness the money is available. And tonight's recording, we're going to go over that money, but we're also going to go over where this economy is. It's a night like any other, but a lot of bad economic data. And tonight we're going to learn why the month of July is likely to be the worst month on the books for this economy of 2022 so far. Boy, folks, it's a big night. We've had a lot of breaking news to go over, big checks, big money, big details, and big opportunities for you tonight. And it all starts right now. How are you? I hope you're having a beautiful night across the board. It is bitterly hot suddenly in Southern California tonight. It got very hot in the last few minutes, but it's going to be hotter if there's $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in your state. Every state has now $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in for you across the board. Let's make clear what this money is. It is money from the federal government. It is not state money. And the states don't determine whether you have the money. It is money established by executive orders. The President of the United States, Joe Biden, did it in the month of March. And I have this money for you, laying this recording. $100,000 of forced stimulus checks. You don't like it, Governor? Don't worry, because he's not sending you the money. It is coming from the federal government, and boys are great. Every U.S. state for you, if you're on SSI, SSDI, go right into this video, become a member. Go right into this video, subscribe, and stay late in this video. Stay to the very end, because we have a lot of money to go over tonight, and a lot of breaking news. It's a night like any other, but then out of nowhere, suddenly we got an enormous surge of information that we did not potentially see coming. And that data is just shocking on so many fronts tonight. We start tonight with the major inflationary number released this morning, and it was a shocker. It was a shocker. The core personal consumption number, which is the gauge usually used by the Federal Reserve to determine where inflation's going, came in higher than expected. The core personal consumption expenditure price, which excludes food and energy, rose 4.7 year over year. This is the highest increase we've seen since the Reagan administration. This number's not good. 4.7% year-to-date increase, and it was basically almost a beat because Wall Street is looking at 4.8%. But it's the headline inflation number that I want to go to. The headline inflation number shot really high, 0.6% for the month, and that was higher than the gauge announced for the month of April at 2.2%, at 0.2%. But here's the big number. Here's the big number. You ready for this one? Jay Powell said he's battling inflation. Jay Powell says he's using those tools at the Federal Reserve to bring down inflation. Jay Powell keeps on raising interest rates. And I keep on saying he doesn't have the tools to reduce inflation, that raising interest rates doesn't work. And so far, he's done 3/4, quarter and a half. Has he done it? Here you go. In the month of March, the inflation rate was 6.6%. In the month of April, it was 6.3%. In the month of May, 6.3%. Not working. Bombshell? Oh, it feels like 2020. Bombshell? No, it's not a bombshell. Exactly what I've been reporting since the month of February. Jay Powell does not have the tools to bring down inflation, and raising interest rates not working. And here you go. Jay Powell's not going to be happy. If you hear some crashing sound, it's him in the China cabinet. He's unhappy because he suddenly realizes that everyone realizes what I said was correct, that raising interest rates is not getting inflation down, and he's had 3 rides of the ponies show so far, and he hasn't gotten it down in 3 months. Personal income rose for the month of May 0.5% ahead of the estimate of Wall Street, but here's consumer spending fell 0.4%, sharply down from a 0.3 gain in April. Let's say that again. It was down 0.4% when it was up 0.3% in the month of April. It's still up 2.1% year to date. Here we go. People aren't spending. They don't have the money. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state to the very end. We got a lot of money coming up in tonight's recording. The rising cost of living absorbed all the increased spending power for the added jobs and higher wages in the month of May, says Bill Adams, chief economist of Comerica Bank, in a news statement obtained by LALATE News tonight. Americans are just running faster than to even stay even. No wonder consumer confidence is in the pits. That's his quote. That's not my quote. You know, the pits, and I'm not referring to banana bread pits or peach pits. I'm referring to the pits. Goods inflation rose 9.6% year to date, and that was really too hot as well. As if that number was not bad enough, let's go to then unemployment. Unemployment was released before sunrise, and did I get it right again as well? Let's go over the background on this new jobless claims number. Every Thursday morning, if you've been with this channel since I launched on April 25th, 2020, I report the new jobless claims number, and this is the landscape of its history. It was 200,000 new jobless claims before the pandemic started in March of 2020, shot up to 1 million, stayed there for several weeks. Then, when we came out of the pandemic, dropped to 181. So it should be really at 181,000 new jobless claims per week. If you're on the live chat right now, post if you think what you think the number was released today. 3 weeks ago, I said it was going to be 230,000 new jobless claims. Did I get it right? I did. 229,000 was the number. The week after that, I said 230 again. Initially, it was announced at 227. Today, it was announced at 232. They revised the number, so it's right on the money. I got 2 for 2. Did I get 3 for 3 tonight? I did. It came in at 231,000. Again, a third week in a row, I've gotten this right. This is a horrible number. Now, remember, the Federal Reserve has a dual mandate. The dual mandate is to raise people to maximum employment and to obtain price stability. Another way to call it, reduce inflation. But Jay Powell tonight is causing more people to become unemployed. He's causing the economy to slow down, as he said last night. And that slowing down that economy is sending you through a series of stages and approaching a potential financial cliff. Let's go over the stages and why it's important for you to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Have you become a member? Go right in this video right now and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Stay with me over the second half of this video. Stay to the very end. We're going to go over these incredible checks. Do you want $100,000? I think you do. They're coming up later in this recording. What's going on with this economy? Jay Powell's raising interest rates to slow the economy. He admits that's what he's doing. But in doing that, what will also happen? The economy will go through a series of stages I've identified as the following. Now to September, then September to January, and then January to 2024. What are the 3 stages? Stage 1 is the present. Stage 2, the financial cliff. The financial cliff. And then stage 3, the recession. Now let's go over the history of the different stages and understand why stage 2, which is, 60 days away, is so scary and why you absolutely have to get a stimulus check tonight. You cannot wait a minute. Stage 2 is September. And if my analysis is correct, the financial cliff is in September. What's going on? During the Senate Banking Committee hearing earlier this week, Liz Warren asked this question to Jay Powell. Mr. Powell, if you continually raise interest rates, are you potentially setting up the U.S. economy to go over a financial cliff? He says, in light of the international events that are making it harder to do this, it's always possible. It's always possible we could be heading to a financial cliff. If that's the case, when would the financial cliff hit? In my opinion, I believe it will hit in September. What is a financial cliff, and why is you, as a viewer of this channel, not going to suffer it? A financial cliff is for non-viewers who do not prepare accordingly for September. They don't get the money that they need right now. They don't get the stimulus available right now. They don't do much of anything right now. And they think the status quo is great. And then this hits. They get laid off. The business reports less earnings. They get laid off. They go next door. There's no job to give them next door. And guess what happens? There's no unemployment stimulus from 2020. FPUC, that's $600 a week on top of your existing benefits, gone. PUA for independent contractors, gone. PEUC, those extra weeks of unemployment benefits, gone. What if you're a small business owner? Gone. PPP, EIDL grant, EIDL loan, all gone. There's nothing for you at all. And what about that home? You're about to be evicted? No, I'm not going to be evicted. There's an eviction moratorium. No, there's not. It's gone. My home is fine. The bank won't take it because there's a mortgage forbearance. No, there's not. It's gone. And how about utilities? Oh, they would never turn off my utility bill. The utilities is, they have that agreement that never turn off the utilities if you can't pay it. No, they don't. That's gone as well. That's why the situation is so dire in less than 90 days for people who don't know the pivot is happening. Now, the breaking news tonight is that the month of July, in my opinion, will be the hardest felt month of this economy for potentially this year after May. Let's look at the breaking news that supports that analysis tonight. The breaking news that supports this analysis tonight is, of course, the waiting out for the CPI. The Consumer Price Index number is released in the month of June, in July, just a few days from now, which is a June read. You know, it's released in the month of July, the next month, and we're waiting to see if it's going to be 8.6%, the same, higher, or lower. If it's higher, folks, you could wait for the zombie apocalypse to come knocking at the door. That's going to be a very bad situation. If it comes at 8.6%, that's not good as well. If it comes a little bit lower, it better come a lot lower, because 8.6% was the highest read since 1981. Again, here we go back to the 1980s. These numbers are dating back to the Reagan administration. The 231,000 new jobless claims today was horrible. And guess what's also horrible? We're ending the month of June with the lowest performance, the worst performance of the S&P in 50 years. Everyone's losing their shirt, folks. Everyone's losing their shirt, whether it's low income, middle class, upper class, or lobster class. Everyone's losing, lobster class. Did you take the lobster class? Yeah, you just taught to wear lobster shorts. It's just a very bad situation. The S&P ends today at the worst performance in 50 years in 1 month. And the combination of slowing growth, fading EPS prospects, and ongoing monetary policies are weighing on this sentiment for months. It's causing ostensibility against the mornings, says Adam Crustafulli of Virtual Knowledge in a new report released today. There is related news coming in today as well, and all this related news is so on point because remember, if that financial cliff is just around the corner, you got to pivot right away and get money. What do? You get as much money as you can get from this channel right today, because we only have a few weeks away. Remember, a check doesn't land overnight from any federal government, so you got to do the effort. And while the turnaround time may be 5 days or 6 days or 10 days, you can't wait any longer, folks. You got to go into this video and become a member right this second. Go right where it says join the channel and get ready to get those first stimulus checks later in this recording. In the next 90 days, consumer confidence is going to go down, spending is going to go down, income is going to go down, while price of goods are going to go up, recessionary winds are going to pick up, mortgage rates are going to pick up, and do not depend on anything improving. I got to tell you, the landscape today was everyone was complaining. Everyone was complaining, whether it was bond traders, stock traders, crypto traders. Everyone was complaining because no one is making money and everyone is losing their shirt. You got to get this forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. Let me go over some other breaking news tonight. It fits in the recording, but, it doesn't really fit anywhere, so I'm putting it right here. A major decision revealed by the Supreme Court, obtained by LA News earlier today, was a shocker, and the shocker was for Joe Biden and Joe Manchin. The shocker was in the decision of West Virginia versus Environmental Protection Agency. Knows the West Virginia? Yep, the state of West Virginia sued the federal government's EPA, saying that you do not have the right to determine climate change agenda. It has to be determined by Congress. And go right through Joe Manchin. Guess what happened? In a 6-3 decision, and the published decision written by Justice Roberts and led by Democrats, they agreed with, obviously, the state of Manchin's position, which is it's not possible that Congress gave the EPA the authority to adopt its regulation for climate on its own. As a regulatory scheme, the decisions of such magnitude and consequences rest with Congress on itself, and it did not delegate that out. There you go. Major win for the state of West Virginia and Joe Manchin. Major loss from Joe Biden. Translation, you're not going to see a lot of the climate agenda of the White House going to around Joe Manchin anymore because it ain't going to work. The law has been said. Bitcoin is an example of other situations getting worse by the minute. Crypto is losing its shirts. Bitcoin ends the second quarter this year down 58%. How significant a story is that? That's the worst performance in nearly a decade. The last time we saw anything of crypto down this substantial was 2011, and most Americans were not even thinking about crypto back then. That's when it shot down 70%. That was the crypto massive crash of that time. Meantime, $100 billion of crypto is missing tonight. Who has it? Is it in your lobster shorts? No, it's not. It might be in North Korea's lobster shorts because guess what? They're behind a $100 billion crypto heist, says a new report out today. Let's turn to oil because we have major news on oil. Remember, if oil goes up, then inflation goes up. And if inflation goes up, Jay Powell raises your interest rates. And if Jay Powell raises your interest rates, you're in big trouble with this economy. Here's the news tonight. Bad and bad after that. First, the JCPOA. Major news on that front. back in the month of March, back in the month of April. I told you that the White House and the Western allies need to get the replaced missing oil bought quickly. It's 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. That was now missing because of the embargo of Russian oil and the reduced capacity by OPEC Plus starting in the month of March of this year. They had 5 opportunities, I said, back in the month of March, and those 5 countries included Iran, with the JCPO agreement, a deal not yet signed, but dating back to before this year. Back in the month of April, I said the negotiations were at the final hour. They said Germany and France negotiate on behalf of the United States and Iran. The deal would involve the flooding the market of massive amounts of oil that would replace the missing 3.5. Yes. That would get the price of gasoline down. Yes. That would solve the energy crisis. Yes. In exchange for Iran disarming their nuclear warheads. Pretty easy. This sounds great, LALATE. What happened back then? We really didn't know. Remember my reporting back in the month of April? I had to go up and down, left and right to even find out, did the deal fall apart and why? To this day, we didn't know why the deal fell apart. This morning, in a radio broadcast, one analyst gave us an update. That's how buried a story it is, and that's how much detail you only get on LALATE. The analyst said, Iran says, I'm not negotiating anymore. The White House is not moving on this front, so I'm not negotiating anymore because it's sort of a waste of our time. Folks, the White House is only in 5 countries, and it continues to isolate all 5 countries. Minutes ago, the President of the United States overseas, when addressing the NATO conference, says he's not going to Saudi Arabia to get oil. He's trying to go to all the countries to wrap up production. I almost cursed. Yeah. I almost had a 4-letter word in there because it's just not true. It's just really not true, folks. He's not doing anything. What does this look like? It looks like her. It looks like her with Steve Mnuchin in 2020. Remember when Steve Mnuchin said, I'll give you $400 a week for FPUC? And Nancy Pelosi said $600. He said, no, $400. And she said, okay, no deal. And millions of Americans never got a penny. She walked away from $400 a week, which would have been $12,000 for my viewers, and they got nothing. Because she won $600. That's the type of negotiations the Democrats are doing. The type of negotiations the Democrats are doing for the JCPOA, disgraceful. Should just do the deal and get it done. Tonight, the White House saying, I want to increase production across the board for all the countries. Tell that to OPEC Plus, because they had an announcement today. They're not increasing production at all. You know, it's as though he's talking in a vacuum. Now, before I continue with oil, let me add in an insert here because it belongs here. Earlier today, one of the most beloved financial analysts was on TV, and he said, as to Jay Powell's prediction that or guidance that he's getting inflation down to 2% later this year, which I've been saying has been ridiculous since day one. He's getting down to 4%. The analyst was so upset about it, or the broadcaster was so upset about it, he said, I want to actually go to that meeting next month and look them all right in the eye and says, none of you believe it's 2%, do you? This is the most ridiculous thing that keeps on coming out of Jay Powell's mouth. Can the 2% of Jay Powell be topped? Well, it could be topped with Joe Biden's thought that he is increasing production gasoline with all the foreign countries. None of them are doing it because none of them have a conversation with them. And minutes ago, we learned that one of the most important groups ain't doing it. Who is it? OPEC Plus. OPEC Plus, different from just OPEC, includes more countries, and they govern how much gasoline they're going to produce. Their history is very telling. When Putin invaded Ukraine, they decreased capacity. That's why it's 3.5 million barrels of gasoline missing per day. Then, earlier this month, they had the great news that they're going to ramp up production of barrels of gasoline per day. How many? 648,000 per day. Good. But that's for the month of July and August. Today, they met for the July meeting to discuss whether to increase the production beyond 648. They said no. Not good. The next meeting is August 3rd, and they could change their position then. But the issue is that they were doing 10 million barrels before COVID hit, and they're still really down. They brought it up a little bit to 400,000 a day and then 430 a day, now 648. But folks, they're really down on production. The takeaway for this is you need to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You got to get it. The situation of gasoline, you may think it's down for the month or down for a few weeks. It ain't going to be staying down because there's no deal on gasoline. There's 3.5 million barrels of gasoline today. Missing still, once again, the White House, the Western allies are not getting the gasoline. And if they're not getting the gasoline, then the CPI, the Consumer Price Index number, will continue to rise. And if it continues to rise, that means that Jay Powell is going to come in more aggressively on those Fed rise of rates. Now, when we look at that CPI next month, we're going to be looking at a lot of stuff. But tonight, you're going to see an analysis of a new issue on many different fronts. First, what I want to talk about is the month of July. Month of July is going to scare the socks off of you. It's really going to examine how bad this economy is. It's going to be the last step before the financial cliff. It's going to be the most severe month for the pivoting of this U.S. economy from decent to really bad since May. Remember May? If you're on this channel back in the month of May, that was the month in which Jay Powell announced a half basis point increase, and then suddenly, within days, the stock market crashed and continued to crash day after day until eventually went to a bear market. That was also the month in which we started to get shocked. Walmart and Target announced corporate earnings for Q1 2022 in March, and they shocked us. We thought coming out of COVID, everyone was in the stores. We thought everyone was buying goods and items. They said no. We had merchandise problems. We had this problem. They had lots of problems, and they missed dramatically. That was when corporate earnings was a blowout. Now, yesterday I reported that even in view of those surprises then, there's still surprises today. When Bed Bath & Beyond reported such dismal earnings yesterday that the stock was down 20% in one day. 20% in one day for a stock that's already been hit dramatically. The month of July is going to scare the socks off of you. First, we're going to have the CPI, the Consumer Price Index number for the month of June. It's determined based upon cost of goods, and it's based upon also gasoline. And if the situation is as bad as it is, you folks, you need to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. You need to get that forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, because if our guidance is correct, then it's going to be a very bad number. A bad number means that the CPI will potentially go very, very high. Remember, if gas goes high, then the CPI goes high. Gasoline may slightly end down for the month. We were up at the start of the month 35 cents. We're down 20 cents at the back side of the month. We'll see by tomorrow if we end flat or down. But if we're flat or up, then the CPI may still go up. That number will scare people's socks off. If we show that inflation has not peaked, folks, that is really bad news. Then we also have the Federal Reserve's guidance potentially coming at that July FOMC meeting. Remember, the Federal Reserve does not meet in August, so we're hoping we get some guidance for September. And folks, the guidance right now came in from Maynard 2 nights ago that said the way this economy is right now, where inflation is not peak, we got to do 75 basis point. Translation: if by the time they meet in September, inflation is not peaked, whoa, they may do a full basis point completely out the door. Also in the month of July. In less than 2 weeks from now, we will hear the corporate earnings for Q2 of this year. And you gotta believe that the Q2 earnings are so bad that we may be shocked on many fronts. RH, my goodness. RH today, it was ridiculous. 2 days ago, it issued a few days ago and issued earnings. Then it said we're going to buy back some stock. Just today or yesterday, it came back and said, you know what, we're going to give guidance. It's going to be really bad. But we just heard from you a few days ago. No, we're giving you guidance. It's really bad. And forget about buying stock. We're not going to buy anything. Is this scaring the socks off of you? If it isn't, then you're not wearing socks. You're wearing lobster shorts around the feet, around the ankle. It's just really scary times. And I don't think I've ever seen anything like this. And this is not the recession. This is just the downward spiral of this economy. Americans are going to be unemployed because businesses are not going to make money. Jay Powell said last night in his comments yesterday that he's shrinking this economy. Shrinking this economy is not just stocks. It's also corporations, their employment of you. It's also your ability to financially live. And the data on every front are that gasoline is not going to track lower. Stocks will continue to fall because we're falling dramatically. 49% is what you get in a recession, and we're only in a bear market. And crypto investments are wiped out. People's investments are gone or down 60, 70, 80%. There's nothing left. What you need to know is that in the landscape of all this, could there also be stagflation? What the world is stagflation? Stagflation would mean you would have a recession, both and also the add-on of inflation. Oh, now the President of the United States is likely to give some good news in the next few days. Student loan debt forgiveness, $10,000 to be forgiven across the board. If your debts are $150,000 or less, that would be the final chapter of that equation. But not the final chapter of the equation is interest rates. And those interest rates are among the subjects that are coming in July. Let's make clear why July is a shocker of a month and why you got to get a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. July is going to be such that shocker of a month. Hearing horrible news projected from the Federal Reserve, corporate earnings, unemployment claims, and, we're expecting bad numbers on housing because housing at this point, by July, the numbers would be out since mortgage rates rose. Is there any industry that's going to post good numbers? No, we're seeing the banking industry reporting corporate earnings in less than 7, 8, 9 days from now. It's going to be a really bad month, folks. And if you don't understand how bad that is, then today is the night to welcome the bad news and put the fire under your feet. The situation for you is that there is, thank goodness, a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state, not just one, but a lot. They add up to $100,000. Let's go over these checks right now. Every U.S. state has over $100,000 approximately of forced stimulus checks for you. If you're single, $75,000 or less annual income. Married couple, $150,000 or less. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, and more. This is money funded by the federal government. This is money that came from the federal government. This is money from federal law. This is all federal stimulus. The person who sends you the check may be the state. The person who may run the website for it may be the state. The person who may actually administer the application may be the state. But it ain't their law. It ain't their program. It ain't their money. It's all federal money. So if you're sitting back tonight and say, I hate my governor. I hate my state legislature. I hate my state. I don't even like the taste of bacon in my state. Don't worry, because it's not your state's bacon. It's the federal government's bacon that's much more tasty. It's all coming from the federal government, so you don't have to worry about what your state governor once said. You don't have to worry about what your state legislator once said. You don't even have to worry about the local news says, because it's not anything about your local jurisdiction. It's all from the federal government. That is what I have for you in the second half. Here's what you need to know going into the second half. You need to be laser focused, and laser focus involves focusing on the situation tonight. As we go into the month of July 2022, this is the breaking news tonight. This is the stimulus tonight. This is the latest developments tonight. This is how you get money tonight. You may have heard about something in the past. You may have experienced something in the past. You need to forget it. You need to forget about how you got paid for stimulus in 2020, how you got paid for stimulus in 2021. You have to forget about what Congress is doing. You have to forget about what Bernie or Liz or Nancy or Joe Manchin or Chuck Schumer are doing. You have to forget about it because they are going on a beautiful vacation in August and not send you a penny. The financial cliff is September. Yeah. The financial cliff is September. Why are you waiting around to look for something for people that aren't sending you a penny in September when there is $100,000 on the table? Translation? People who learn to earn like you are going to survive this financial cliff. It's a wonderful family on this channel called the Purple Power Family. You're going to survive. People who don't want to learn anything, people who just sort of show up once every few months and say, where's my check? Where's this? Where's that? Is it my bank account? Where is it? What is it? They are absolutely going to fall over the financial cliff because they've not learned to earn. And the importance is this money is for you to go get. The verb tense in that sentence is go get. It's not to go look for. It's not to go watch it land. It's for you to go get. That's how you get this money. That's how you survive the financial cliff. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over all this incredible money. Plus, we'll be going over the raising of your benefits. If you're on SSI and SSDI, I have commentary tonight about gasoline and its impact on the 4th of July, its impact on your wallet, and its impact on this economy going forward. I also have new guidance tonight about what's going on with Jay Powell, and will Jay Powell change his position as we go into the fall months if none of what he's done has worked? Oh boy, it's a big, compelling question mark. But I got the answers for you in the second half. But first, here's a little bit about the community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. Don't forget to become a member during the commercial break. And I'll see you back in 60 seconds as America's most watched show and most loved show in primetime continues. It's Evenings LALATE for June 30th, 2022. See you back shortly. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in a big second half for June 30th, 2022. Hope you're having a beautiful night. Did you become a member during the commercial break? I hope you did, because you're ready to get the big money in the second half. Do you want $100,000? I bet you do. Do you want to avoid that financial cleft? I know you do. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. It's a big night. It's a little bit hot. Actually, it's very hot here in Southern California. And the great news is that there's a lot of money. First, let's go over this money in general, and then we'll go over the specifics of the checks. $100,000, go get it. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less annual income, go get it. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, go get it. And yes, it's in every U.S. state. Again, this is money that comes from the federal government. This is a law from the federal government. This is money underwritten by the federal government. And while the states may actually send you the check or may administer the application, they have nothing to say about it. This is nothing that is a result of a vote in the state. The state is not administering the money. It's not their law. It's the federal government. This is all federal stimulus. And with that, let's go over all these incredible checks. Back in the month of March, I found them from the viewers for this channel. Viewers have been getting it since then. A lot of money. This channel's gotten people over $50 million. But this money will not be around very long. That's why you have to become a member tonight and start getting this money right away before it runs out and before the financial cliff involves people running to search for money in dire need. Let's look at these incredible checks starting right now. The first check is Check A, $6,500 to $12,000. I give it a lettering system on this channel, but look at the incredible sums of money. $6,500 to $12,000. It's a fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you're on benefits, go get it. How do you get this incredible check? Step one, subscribe to this channel. Go right under the video and hit the subscribe button. Step two, become a member. Go right in this video and click the Join the Channel button. Become a member like the thousands others have and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alert system. Go right down the membership newsletter till you find Check A, and then you click the link. You click the link for Check A. It sends you into the nationwide website. You choose your state, and then you choose the homeowner's weatherizing grant check, and you apply. So easy. But you're not done there yet? Nope, you're going to go get Check B. Look at that money. $15,000 to $8,000. A fourth stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. And if you're on benefits like SSI and SSDI, go get it. It is $66,000 to $80,000 on average what viewers are getting paid. So they're getting paid on the high end. But have you been running the math? Look at this. $12,000, $80,000. Well, we're already over $100,000, and we've just started. We're not even finished yet. How do you get this incredible check B? Step 1, you subscribe to this channel right now. Step 2, you go into the video and join the channel and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Cow, Calcino VIP. Then you get that membership newsletter for members Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Via the YouTube alert system, you go down to check B and you click it and you pounce. Send you into the nationwide website, you choose your state, then you kill it and get that incredible sums of money. But that's already 100,000. We're not done there yet. There's check C. It's an MSC, baby, on average. $2,000 a month over 12 months, but many viewers are tracking at $45,000 on average. A lot have gotten over $200,000. This is on top of the $100,000 I've already showed you. And these incredible checks viewers have been getting since a long time ago. December 2020, then it became third stimulus. Let's look at these incredible checks right now. But first, let's go over the importance of the check Cs. Check Cs are going to perhaps be the most important checks of 2022. Why? We talked about it early in this video, but now let's do it in the context of stimulus checks. You have a rent bill due. Can you be evicted? Yes, you can. There is no eviction moratorium. That's why you have to go get check C for rent. You're a homeowner. Can you be foreclosed upon by the bank? Yes, you can. That's why you have to go get check C for mortgage assistance. You have a utility bill for heating, oil, or gas, and let's say it's very high, and let's say it's 300, 400% higher, and you can't pay it. Will they turn it off? Yes, they can. The situation is very dire for people who think they can just sort of ride it out like 2020. Those stimulus items are gone. This is a different year. It's 2 years later, and the situation is very different. You need to get these incredible check Cs. Viewers have been getting monster checks for check Cs for a long time on this channel. It's your opportunity tonight by becoming a member and getting the success stories that viewers in the live chat every night update us with further monies. Let's look at those people right now. It goes from Nisi at $20,000 all the way up to Elizabeth for rent of $30,000. You want that $30,000 for rent? Go get check C. Do you want $7,000, $5,000, even $15,000 like Mark's brother-in-law for utilities? Go get check C. His brother-in-law is also getting $25,000 a year for SNAP over 10 years, $250,000. What about a combinations of these check Cs? Nisi was at $23,000. Now she's at $50,000. Mark, he was at $32,000. Now he's at $166,000. And Lorraine was at $105,000, and now she's at literally $150,000. Here's Mark. He went from $32,000 to $50,000, then to $100,000. He got check B. He's at $166,000. Lorraine, she was at $105,000. Now she's at $150,000. They're in all the live chats every night. The importance of getting check C is right there in front of you. How do you get check C? Very simple. You subscribe to this channel, then become a member. Go right down on the video, join the channel, and where it says join the channel, click the button, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Let's recap. Go under the video, hit that subscribe button. There's a little alert button, a bell at the front of the channel. Hit the bell so it's set to all notifications. Then know your time zone. Every night, Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, the YouTube alerts will send an alert that says new LA post. The body says LA newsletter. Lower at the bottom, it says click to go to the post. You click to go to the post, and there it is, the newsletter. You pounce, you go get check A, B, and C, and guess what? You also get check D in some states, but moreover, members have other new added benefits. There's new benefits coming to members all the time. That's why you become a member and you stay a member. Members are ecstatic about this, and this was launched, I think it's a week ago today, a week ago tomorrow maybe. It's very, very new. It's called the LALATE worksheets for members. It's in the third line of the newsletter. All you do is you see it there and you click it. It's a PDF, and the PDF will open and you can print it out and use it. And boy, viewers are loving it. First page of the PDF is to keep notes on what you learn on the video about inflation, recession, Federal Reserve. So important because you need to know where this economy is and where it's going and where your money is on a regular basis. It's page 2, which is the page that I'm most fond of, and so are viewers. It's called For Stimulus. It has a beautiful table with a series of columns. The first columns are the checks, A, B, C. The second column talks about what day you applied. Third, when you got paid. What months did you get paid for? Who was your personal contact there? And what other notes you need to make for yourself. This is the best way to keep notes because you're going to keep on getting rounds of these checks over and over again. There's an individual page in there for members in that worksheets for benefits. Your benefits are going up, and the worksheet helps you calculated based upon the different possibilities. Are benefits going up 8%? Are they going up 9%? You can run the numbers, and there's like a little table there to help you do it for yourself at home. And then we have a page in there for gas, international, 6 stimulus, and then the final page is for student loan debt forgiveness. The President of the United States is going to forgive $10,000 of student loan debt forgiveness for individuals who became disabled for individuals who have a federal loan and their debt is less than $150,000. I've been reporting for several months. I believe that the announcement by the President of the United States, which is executive order, will be made before Congress recesses in early August so that they can be present for the signature signing. The President will close the final chapter on the subject matter. He's previously forgave student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, went to work in the nonprofit or public sector after graduation, or whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. Tonight, we're going to analyze 2 subject matters, which are hideously important before we go into final commentary. This first subject matter is where will we see the financial cliff? What will we see the financial cliff in first so that you and I can be prepared to say, oh, there's the financial cliff. Get ready. I hope you have all the money saved up. Hope you've gotten all the stimulus I've been telling you to get for months. I think there's really 3 possibilities. It's the unemployment, it is the stock market, or it is really basically the corporate earnings. Which do I think it will exemplify or amplify the most first? The financial cliff is based upon an event of that week or so. So the corporate earnings are delayed. They're based upon the second quarter earnings. So I don't think it's going to show up in the corporate earnings so much. The corporate earnings may cause the financial cliff, but I don't think you're going to see financial data so strong in the corporate earnings that you say, oh, we have gone over the financial cliff, because that data is from the second quarter. The corporation's reporting next month. Will those corporate reports be so bad that they send you over the financial cliff? Very possible. How about unemployment? Yes, I absolutely believe you could see a massive spike up in those Thursday new jobless claims. That signals we really are approaching the financial cliff. We're about to fall off of it. What would I look at? Well, notice how we've moved up so quickly. We've gone from 200 to 230 to 232. So I think something like 240, 250 very quickly would scare people really badly. Number 3, it would be basically any sort of pivot of an item that we really did not see coming in a manner in which it really just shocked everyone. It could be something like the housing industry, which is really which is the worst part of this market, or it could be just an implosion of the stock market one day. I think that is less likely because I think those embedded risks are in the market. So I don't believe you're going to see some overnight sensationalized event in some numbers like you may actually see in labor. Now, the Federal Reserve and Jay Powell. Could the Federal Reserve change course? Would the Federal Reserve change course? And is this policy of rate hike going to go on indefinitely? Or is the Jay Powell team going to eat their words? One analyst this morning had a very blunt response about it. He said Jay Powell's walking that hall in the Federal Reserve, and he sees those names on the walls, and he named some names, the analyst, this guy's name, that guy's name. And he says, I don't want to have my name on the wall next to those guys. Why? Because those guys have gone down in infamy as ruining the federal economy. They were very bad Federal Reserve governors, presidents. So is the legacy of Jay Powell so important to Jay Powell that he may pivot before Joe Biden tells him to pivot? Not saying that Joe Biden will. The analyst believes yes. My opinion, I think yes. I really do. There's some ridiculousness coming out of Jay Powell's mouth on a regular basis. The 2% inflation we already talked about earlier in this recording. He's not getting inflation down to 2% later this year. The notion that inflation was going to be transitory, temporary, he said all last year. That's one of his worst quotes. He's going to not be able to die down with his legacy. That's why they continue to support this economy in a way they should not have, the Federal Reserve. That's why I have the problem tonight. The slow to move, coming in a quarter, not half, and then coming in later. And then finally, the hard landing versus soft landing. The hard landing versus soft landing has been a big problem. If the Federal Reserve comes in too hard on the back end, boy, What's the takeaway tonight? I believe that the Federal Reserve will pivot. I believe the Federal Reserve is going to pivot. Who will cause a pivot? Will it be Jay Powell's ego? Will it be his concern that his legacy is going to be tarnished? Will it be Joe Biden picking up the phone saying, Jay, I think you're just dealing with this a little bit too aggressively? Will it be Congress, more of the Liz Warren moments? Will it be more congressional leaders saying, Mr. Powell, you're ruining our economy. How dare you? I think there's going to be a time in which it's going to be a tsunami. I really do. I really do believe there's going to be a time in which even the average American is not going to be happy and is going to have Jay Powell's name on their mouth. I think that time is going to come. I think that ultimately they're going to blame Joe Biden because they know Joe Biden, not an average American doesn't know Jay Powell. But the more that Congress slams Jay Powell as we go into fall months, the more that banks or corporate leaders or economists or analysts or broadcasters say Jay Powell is making a ridiculous mockery of the situation. I think that more Americans will hear that name and say, that's the culprit. What is he doing? And I think he does not want to go down a legacy with ruining this economy in the way in which it could potentially happen. For that, what I still recommend for you is presume the financial cliff is coming. Do not presume that Jay Powell is going to pivot. Do not presume that pivot is going to happen. And my prediction is if the pivot happens, it's going to happen like October or November. By then, it'll be too late. Tonight, we have a lot of shows continue throughout the night, and what I want you to know is that you continue to push and push really hard. You push really hard by getting those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Here's my final commentary tonight, and it mirrors the commentary of recent days, but I want to hit a little harder for tonight. It's important to understand that people who learn will earn, that people who do not learn will fall off the financial cliff. And there's no easy way or simple way or sugar-coated way to say it. Those people who really don't want to learn anything, they're going to be in big trouble, and no one is going to be there to help them, nor I, nor you, nor anyone else. Those are people who say, when is it in my bank account? When are they sent to everyone that deserves it? When are they going to send me the money? When are they going to uphold their promise? When are they going to vote? When are they this? It's every sentence starts with the question when, and those people are going to be in big trouble. Big trouble. You're not that person. You're not that person. And if you're on the borderline of that person, you're sort of waking up tonight, you're sort of realizing, wait a second, I need to get caught up. I need to get caught up. Then God bless you, because you really need to get caught up. You need to stop focusing on something you have learned 3 months ago, something you learned 6 months ago, something you learned last year, something you heard last year, something that paid you 2 years ago, something that paid you 2 months ago. You need to focus on what the event of today is. Notice how much analysis went into just the events of the last 6-8 hours in this recording. That's what you need to know, because this economy is very difficult to analyze. It's a very difficult economy to analyze. And that's why economists, brokers, bond traders, crypto owners, crypto traders are waking up every morning just very upset because they thought their focus on the economy has been right. Imagine they're putting the effort in and they're sometimes getting the analysis wrong. How do you do this? You get every check you can get. You get every check you can get tonight. You don't wait. You go right in this video and you get the money tonight. 3 things you do. Step 1, subscribe. You go right in this video right this moment and hit that subscribe button. Step 2, you go to where it says that little bell. Where's that little bell at the front of this channel? And you turn it to all notifications. Number 3, you become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP, and get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday. You open up the worksheets in the newsletter. You tell your friends and family to come on over and watch the videos with you to learn about where this economy is. You tell them about how serious it's going to become. You tell them to prepare their family and their household accordingly, that it's a big storm out to sea. It's a hurricane down the road. I've been telling this for months, and we're very close. The data gets worse by the day, and the only thing you can do to prepare for it is increase your savings, reduce your adjustable rate debts, and reduce your spending. Confidence is slow, spending is going to slow, and what's going to not change is me. I will be with you all 4th of July weekend, recording all weekend long. So join me all 4th of July weekend. Bring your ribs because, LA goes nice as a side with a slab of ribs. It may be potato salad and maybe coleslaw, but it can also be a side of LA. And with that, have a beautiful night. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, become a member and stay with me throughout the night as the programming continues. Evenings, LALATE every night at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock is Countdown. 7 o'clock, Street and Stillness. Extra at 8. 9 o'clock is Sunset. And the programming continues tomorrow morning and early mornings at 4 a.m. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, good evening and have a beautiful night.